Hey everyone, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. This is my review for Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 3, People of Earth. Thank you so much for stopping by. Look, I gotta admit, this is an episode I did not enjoy. Maybe my Twitter initial reaction video was a bit extreme, a bit exaggerated, but that's because in the moment I was feeling all of the feelings, which sadly were mostly frustration, confusion, and disappointment. But here we are now. Almost a week later, I've seen the episode multiple times, I've talked about it with friends and family, I've seen other reviews and taken into account the varying opinions, and I still don't like it. I'm sorry. No, it's true, it's not the worst thing ever to be released. It wasn't a complete catastrophe, and if I were to rate it with a number system, I wouldn't give it a 1 out of 10. I think it's more subpar, just kind of like disappointing, so I would go rather 4 out of 10. That's what I gave it in the Starfleet Boy discussion. It's just, it didn't work for me. The first time around, it really frustrated me. The second time, I was just bored. Yeah, that's it. And I suppose since then, I really haven't been able to get over it. So, yeah. I'm not gonna bash this thing for the next 10 minutes, though. There's no point. So let's just get this over with as quickly as possible. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna present my problems as questions that I'm sure that many of you will have answers to. So, yeah. Okay, I'll ask my questions and then we'll move on. Why is Stamets such a moron? Does he not know that spilling the beans about the spore drive to just random strangers is not a good idea? They are the only ship in existence with an instantaneous and magical means of transportation. Talking about this in a lawless galaxy seems like suicide to me. Also, why does he not believe the burn could happen everywhere at once when him and his counterpart not 2 seasons ago nearly wiped out the entire multiverse with just a couple of mushrooms? Did he forget about that? It's strange that he would be so surprised by this. Anyway, why does Saru not care that Stamets disobeyed his direct order to not tell anyone anything about who they are? Come on, Saru, stand up for yourself. Also, why does Saru not care about Burnham disobeying when she could have just laid out her plan and explained it all? Again, come on, Saru, pick it up. You were doing fine in episode 2. Why is Burnham's dangerous behavior, that very same behavior that pleases the Emperor of the Mirror Universe so much, being congratulated and praised by the show itself? What I mean is, why is there no consequence to Burnham's actions? Because she saves the day? The ends justify the means? I guess that can apply. Let's not kid ourselves. Data got that pass once with Picard, but Burnham has a history with mutiny. I don't know. Why are people now sad to have left behind their families and friends and entire lives? They didn't need to do that. An entire crew complement of nearly 90 people didn't need to come to the future for no other reason than just Burnham. That doesn't even seem to really care about the ship or her crew anymore. I mean, there's a huge disconnect right now. Anyway, why is Georgiou still around? More importantly, why is she attending meetings and sporting an Admiral uniform? Saru, come on, take a stand. Why do the Earth Defense Force people ask how come the Discovery wasn't destroyed when all it took to not explode during the burn was to not be at warp? Seems like a dumb question to me, and it seems like a whole lot of ships probably didn't explode. Oh, and why did these guys not manage to communicate with Earth back when their situation started in the first place? Like, they couldn't say hello like normal people? Did they already have their helmets on? If so, just take them off? And why does Book have to put on a uniform other than because it made him look sexy? Granted, David Ajala looked sexy in that uniform, but like, no one on the ship can be off duty and in casual attire when someone comes and inspects the vessel. And where did this tree come from? That's just a detail, I guess. Oh my god. Why is it Burnham that makes Saru captain? Why does she do all that? And why does it become a whole ceremonious thing on the bridge? I don't know, I just can't deal with all of this. I can't deal with so much in one small episode. Like, if all of this... You can have inconsistencies across a season, it's fine. But when all of these things happen in the same episode, and that's just the story. Like, the made-up tree, fine, let's give it a pass. But from a visual effects standpoint, it's ugly. It didn't even look good. Some of the music was obvious and obnoxious, especially in this scene where the new character is supposed to be quirky. The music plays into that so heavily, like some old Disney animated classic. Ugh. Look, I love Erica Lippold and Bo-Yeon Kim. They're a great writing duo, and I love Jonathan Frakes. He's an amazing director. I've praised I've praised them many times in other videos, but sometimes things just don't work out, and that was the case here, at least for me. And I know I'm a creator. I create things. You know, sometimes you can put in hard work, time, and talent, but the results are just not there because some things don't work out. That's what I felt here. As I said, the overall story did not work for me, even if I do understand where the writers were coming from and what they were going for. A lot of the details that I just went over in my list of questions kind of stood out to me and annoyed me even more than they should have, because I wasn't able to properly get pulled in by the story itself. Piled on top of that were some of those weak visual effects, vague and confusing explanations about this season's intrigue, which is the burn, but maybe we'll learn more about that later. You know, we'll see. And coming out of such a solid episode 2, that's what really hurt. That hurt. You know what though? The Burnham and Book scenes were nice. Martin Green and Adira have wonderful chemistry, and I do like seeing them interact. And the new character they introduced was also wonderful. The actor did very well. Strong performances all around in the episode, I must say. I'm intrigued about the season's story. That hasn't changed. I was just disappointed with this kind of reunion episode. Alright, enough about that. Let's move on to the Easter eggs and references part of the video, starting with two big character-related things. First of all, Spock. Oh my god, really? Yes, maybe. In the Admiral's transmission from the beginning of the episode, what seems to be Leonard Nimoy's voice can be heard saying, "The Federation lives on."
The Federation lives on. The Federation lives on.
I can't confirm it's him, and I don't know where they would have jacked the audio from, but it really does sound like an older Nimoy, like a movie-era Nimoy, almost a 2009-era Nimoy. If it is, it could be an interesting tie-in to the upcoming episode titled Unification 3, a clear sequel to the two-part Next Generation episode that featured Spock prominently. I would highly recommend checking that out, by the way. Unification 1 and 2, that's Season 5, Episodes 7 and 8. The next big character-related thing is Adira. This actually takes quite a bit of explaining, so let me just say this. The character is human, but is currently host to a Trill symbiont, which is a sort of alien slug thing that can be joined to a humanoid host. As I said, it does get a bit complicated, so please do check out my Trill video to fully understand how the species works, especially considering we'll be going to the Trill homeworld in upcoming Discovery episodes, if not the very next episode. So I'll put the link in the description. Now that those two big things are covered, let's dive into some random things. We hear mention of a Bog Planet, or at least a bog on a planet. We just saw one of those in a recent episode of Lower Decks. Burnham and Book talk about Donatu 7, the 7th planet in the Donatu system. We've already heard reference of this system before. The original skirmish between the Klingon Empire and the Federation before the Battle at the Binary Stars took place at Donatu 5. These are Dot 7s. We've seen quite a few of them in recent years, most of which were in Discovery Season 2, but one also had a main role in the short treks Ephraim and Dot. It is worth noting that these little repair robots were always associated with the Enterprise and not the Discovery in Discovery Season 2, so either they just took a few before leaving, or were given some, or the people making the show forgot that detail. Finally, on screen is featured Synthahol, which is a non-alcoholic version of whatever beverage you want. I don't know when Synthahol came into existence. All I know is Scotty, in his appearance on The Next Generation, had never heard of it before, and he was from a time before the Discovery. Chances are this is a mistake and a little inconsistency in the writing, but it does all work out fine, because as others have pointed out online, Scotty's memory isn't too good in that particular episode anyway. He did forget about Kirk's death. And that's it. Not too many Easter eggs this time around. Again, I do apologize if you were expecting overwhelming positivity. Sometimes that's not very much the case when it comes to Discovery, but I hope you will still consider sticking around my channel. Go check out that Trill video. I'm sure it'll come in handy if you don't know too much about the franchise and too much about all of these species. I did make this channel originally for people that were new to the franchise, people that were discovering Star Trek with Discovery. So there you go. I keep my species videos to just general information. I try to explain the best I can and everything I can about every species without spoiling anything, or the smallest amount possible of storylines and plot lines and character development in the franchise. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. You can support this channel on Patreon, and as usual, live long and prosper.